This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino. That breaking news, a shooting involving a police officer. It happened around 8:15 this evening near Richelieu Road and 42nd Street on the far northeast side of Indianapolis. Investigators have not given any details except that no officers are injured. They also say it is one of 5 shootings that happened across the city tonight. We will bring you updates as soon as we learn new information. And new at 11, knocking out violence across Indianapolis. RTV6 is working for you with a closer look at the city's Safe Summer program designed to keep teenagers from drifting into violence. Reporter Graham Hunter shows you how a group is working to make sure Indianapolis youth learn from their own mistakes.
It's pugilism for a cause on the west side.
What we're trying to do is give people opportunity to have somewhere else to go on a Friday evening.
Shane Shepard, the CEO of Before You Fall, has a lot of experience to teach from.
I started off in group homes, juvenile, boys' schools, state prison, federal prison.
And just like a boxer in the ring, that experience can come in handy in a fight or a conflict out on the streets.
Not only do we keep you safe, but we give you tools to work with.
It's more than just teaching a 1-2 punch. It's about providing tools to avoid conflict.
So when you do go out and you confront it with a situation, it might kick in your brain. I remember when he said, it's okay to be afraid. Best thing I can do is just be quiet and try to get away.
Shepard grew up in Indianapolis and he's trying to give back, but he's not the only one.
I'm Indiana's first and only world heavyweight boxing champion in history. We're going to see how fast you are.
Indianapolis' own Lamont Brewster grew up in Hawville and is a regular at these Friday night lessons and the main boxing trainer at the American Top Team gym where it all went down.
To be able to see these kids and say, listen, I know how you feel. I felt like you. I know how you're thinking. I thought like you.
That's why Brewster is glad to play a role.
What he's doing is he's bringing kids that need this hope.
And Brewster shares his message in the lessons he learned on the path to the heavyweight championship.
They need to see that if you make these sacrifices in life, you can and you will be successful.
Working for you from the west side, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Thank you, Graham. And the city says the Safe Summer program has served almost 700 kids since it began last month. For more info on the Before You Fall boxing program, head to our website, theindychannel.com. It is another beautiful night to be outside. Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounts is working for you, helping you prepare for the weekend. I'll take another day like today, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely, Amanda. It was a great day across central Indiana, in large part because that humidity was kept in check, and I think we'll do that again tomorrow. Right now, our temperature is still in the middle 70s in Indy, but many areas have dipped down into the 60s already this evening with mostly clear skies and high pressure in control of our weather, which means that things are going to be staying on the dry side. As you head out the door in the morning, those temperatures into the lower 60s. We'll have those numbers, though, recovering back to 70 degrees by 9 a.m. with lots of sunshine. We do need some rain, though. We can see that abnormally dry conditions have now started to develop north of Indianapolis from around Noblesville and Lebanon into Lafayette and near Monticello. We'll talk about when we could get in on some needed rainfall in just a few minutes.
Police have arrested a man accused of shooting a pregnant woman in Anderson, leaving her on life support. The shooting happened around 3 o'clock this morning. Investigators are not saying where. 29-year-old Skylar White is preliminary charged with attempted murder. And the search continues at this hour for a man wanted in connection to the death of an Indianapolis woman. A murder warrant has been issued for Emerson Ariel Ortiz Pacheco. Investigators found 19-year-old Evelyn Lopez dead on Monday near a playground at an apartment complex on the southeast side. If you see the suspect or know where he is, you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 317-262-TIPS. The Muncie Animal Shelter will reopen Monday for cat adoptions only. The dog kennel will be closed for weeks. Now, the department says the closure is because animals may have been exposed to disease and illness after the shelter took in animals that had been neglected. Today's announcement comes one day before Animal Care planned to host a big adoption event. The dog kennels will be closed until at least August 19th. We will bring you updates as we learn new info. RTV6 is working for you, getting answers for drivers dealing with major backups. Lee Road is closed from Fall Creek to Trelawney Drive on the northeast side, while crews work to replace a culvert. It shut down on July 22nd. Drivers tell RTV6 they are frustrated because they thought the closure would only last a few weeks, but the road will not open up until the end of August.
Highly disappointed. I was hoping that it would be, maybe, hey, they're going to get on it. But I don't, I'm highly disappointed. That's another 29 days.
We did not know that up front. I thought it was going to be about 2 weeks total.
RTV6 took those concerns to city officials. According to the mayor of Lawrence, his city's website said the project would only take a few weeks because that's the estimate that was given. But the Indianapolis Department of Public Works says the project is on schedule. A spokeswoman says DPW called Lawrence today to update their information. More lane closures are coming to major roads leading in and out of downtown Indianapolis. Citizens Energy plans to start sewer repairs Monday along Meridian, Illinois, 16th and 11th Streets. The work is part of a project to update sewer lines that were installed more than 100 years ago. In some cases, citizens say improvements are necessary to avoid sewer-related collapses, which happened last summer. New scooter rules take effect in Bloomington not long after students return for the fall semester. Starting September 1st, scooter parking will be allowed on city sidewalks. They must be parked upright with enough room for pedestrians to get around them. Riders could be fined for obstructing things like driveways, parking spaces, or building entrances. And if a scooter rider encounters a person with a visual impairment, the rider must get off the scooter and walk around the person. Countless women across central Indiana will have a boost of confidence at their next job interview thanks to your donations. Today, the organization Dress for Success kicked off a month-long collection drive. People dropped off business suits and other professional attire for women on Monument Circle. The executive director of the nonprofit says Dress for Success is about much more than looking good.
I think propelling women into economic independence is critical, not just for the women, but for their families and for our whole community. It's truly a priceless gift.
If you missed today's event, you can donate items at the Dress for Success office at 820 North Meridian Street, Monday through Thursday from 9:30 to 11 a.m. If you were a victim of the Equifax data breach and you expect to get a $125 payout, you likely will not get that much money. According to the settlement website, people impacted are eligible for free credit monitoring or up to $125. The Federal Trade Commission says there is so much interest in filing a claim, those who do may only get a fraction of that payment. The commission is encouraging consumers to take the free credit monitoring option.
So the cash payment is not intended to be just a payout for all consumers. What it's intended to be is that if you decide that you already have a really good free credit monitoring or a good credit monitoring product and you're not going to benefit from the credit monitoring the order, you could ask for a cash payment as an alternative.
To submit a claim, go to EquifaxBreachSettlement.com. Make sure to enter the website correctly because scammers are creating websites with similar names. A different local brewery is taking over the former home of Three Wise Men Brewing Company in Broad Ripple. Sun King plans to open its 4th Central Indiana location in the building in a few months. The company says it will be family friendly. Three Wise Men closed in June. And Thursday will be the first day of class ever at a school in the Center Grove District in Johnson County. Walnut Grove Elementary School on Morgantown Road is brand new. It will be the 6th elementary school in the district. A dedication ceremony will be held at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon during a public open house from 1 to 3. Families can score free backpacks, free school supplies, free food, and more tomorrow at the 3rd Annual IPS Back to School Festival. It goes from 10 to 3 at the Indiana History Center on Ohio Street. District workers will be there to help answer questions about enrollment, special needs services, transportation, and more. The first day of school for most IPS students is Monday. Coming up, now young Hoosiers are getting a head start in the workforce and learning important life skills. Plus,
you really can be a real-life, everyday hero and save a life, and that's not an opportunity that very many people get.
A man saved the life of a central Indiana boy from thousands of miles away. We will explain and show you the moment they meet for the first time. And tonight, we have learned the owners of a Northside apartment complex have applied to reinstate their tax-exempt status. Take a look at how RTV6 has been working for you, holding the property accountable for health code violations and residents living in unhealthy conditions. Breaking developments about Northside apartment complex busted repeatedly by the health department.
Working for you, RTV6 has been pushing for answers and accountability from the owners of Lakeside Point at Nora since March. In May, we were the first to tell you the owners haven't paid property taxes since 2007 by claiming to be a charitable organization.
For the first time in over a decade, the owners of Lakeside Point at Nora could be forced to pay property taxes in less than a year. The property has an assessed value of over $16 million. That means the owners weren't responsible for paying $360,000 in annual property taxes. That's over $4 million since 2007 when the property was declared tax exempt. Friday morning, the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals voted unanimously to revoke the tax exempt status of the property after ownership failed to send documentation by July 15th to establish why the property should maintain its charitable designation. Indiana property taxes are paid a year in arrears. Ownership of Lakeside Point at Nora will receive its first bill in over a decade in January of 2020. It'll be due in April at tax time. Our calls to management of the property were not returned. The decision can be appealed. It will be up to the folks in the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals to decide what they want to see from the owners of Lakeside Point at Nora before they reinstate that tax-exempt status.
Night at Rubens Mattress and Furniture.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
You do not have to wear a cape or a badge to be able to save a life. Today, for the first time, a Bloomington boy met his real-life hero.
It was just amazing to finally get closure on who gave me my life, who saved me from, what would have been the other option.
Trevor Walden needed a stem cell transplant after being diagnosed with leukemia. A matching donation eventually came last year from a stranger in Oregon. Today at Riley Children's Health, the Walden family met the man who saved Trevor's life.
I'm just grateful and honored to be part of it and in this way, and it's just amazing because Trevor is so healthy. He just looks so great.
When you watch your child deteriorate, and then be able to be built back up using a stranger's bone marrow is just something words cannot describe.
Trevor and his donor Sam Hunslitz also met the oncology team at Riley. Free health screenings will be available at Eskenazi Health Center tomorrow. It is hosting a free community day from 10 to 2 at the center on West 38th Street. Some of the free services include blood pressure, vision, diabetes, and oral health screenings. The event will also include games and entertainment. Tonight, Hiring Hoosiers shows you're never too young to get job experience and make career connections. The local nonprofit TeenWorks helps make that happen. The organization offers a summer program that puts teenagers to work at local businesses like People for Urban Progress. Workers are taking items that used to end up in a landfill and transforming them into bags, purses, and wallets. The president and CEO of TeenWorks says its mission is to help young people excel in college, career, and the community.
We're going to college, whether we're going into the workforce, into the military. The 6-week summer job program really teaches them how to show up on time, be good teammates, have some leadership, all those things that they can actually take into their next phase of their post-secondary careers or college and make them successful by showing up on time, being great team players, and really having some leadership skills that they've been taught here at TeenWorks.
TeenWorks offers several other programs all year round. For more info, go to hiringhoosiers.com. The U.S. is reportedly close to a deal that would end the war in Afghanistan. ABC's Serena Marshall explains the initial deal with the Taliban, who would bring thousands of troops home.
After nearly 18 years, U.S. involvement in the war in Afghanistan could be coming to an end. It's a war that has cost more than 2,400 Americans their lives. And according to the Pentagon, roughly $45 billion each year.
I could win that war in a week if I wanted to, but I'm not looking to kill 10 million people.
According to the Washington Post, the drawdown part of a peace deal with the Afghan government. The U.S. would cut troop numbers in the country nearly in half, from the 14,000 currently deployed to between 8,000 and 9,000, the same as when President Trump first took office. In exchange for the Taliban agreeing to a ceasefire and a commitment to eliminating any safe haven for terrorists. They've been negotiating since last year. In February, the top U.S. commander told David Muir,
neither side will win it militarily. So if neither side's going to win it militarily, you have to move into towards a political settlement here.
The president asked for the drawdown to occur.
I hope in the next handful of weeks we'll have significant progress we can announce.
On Twitter, one of the president's biggest allies, Lindsey Graham, warning the president, it is one thing to end the war with honor and security. It is another to simply hope it goes away. A CENTCOM spokesperson tells ABC News the DOD has not been ordered to draw down. Our strategy in Afghanistan is conditions-based. Our troops will remain in Afghanistan at appropriate levels so long as their presence is required to safeguard U.S. interests. The war has faced harsh criticism from all sides, and just this year led to the deaths of 15 U.S. troops, 2 killed this past Monday. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
And we are working to learn the circumstances surrounding a deadly shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. It happened around 11:30 this morning on Kitley Avenue, west of Gardner Park. The person killed has not been identified publicly. We will bring you updates as we learn new info. 5 four-legged officers are now part of IMPD. They will start protecting and serving the community this week. Their duties include tracking and detecting drugs and narcotics, donations from local organizations, and people paid for the new canines. Hopefully you enjoyed RTV6 Day at the Indiana State Fair. Kevin and I and many other members of the RTV6 team spent the day at the fairgrounds. We had lots of fun. I just love the ride, so I had to make sure Kevin and I got on that. A lot of fun to be had, a lot of food to be tried.
Lots of food.
I wish we had smell-o-vision at the fair.
Yeah, and you brought some back, so you kept the newsroom happy this afternoon for sure.
I feel like you can't go to the fair and not bring back some of those yummies.
Yeah, that funnel cake was pretty tasty.
But Kyle, what I have to say is usually when we go to the fair, it's so hot and it's so uncomfortable. And today there was a breeze. It was nice. I'm hoping that lasts into the weekend for the people going this weekend.
I think so. At least into tomorrow's another nice day. Sunday's going to be nice too, a little more humid. We'll talk about that. Right now we've got 74 degrees in downtown. Very nice conditions in Kokomo and Bloomington as your temperatures are now into the 60s and that wind is fairly light. It's still out of that northeast direction though, and that combined with the clear skies means temperatures by tomorrow morning very comfortable. Many spots into the 50s here. Pretty rare air for early August. 63 in the city, 59 for you in Columbus, and 55 in Lafayette. Now tomorrow, main thing you're going to need to keep in mind is take along that sunscreen if you're going to be outside very long at all. We've got the UV index running very high there. Need that SPF every couple of hours to reapply. With the sunshine, temperatures warming pretty quickly here. We'll get to 74 by 10 a.m. 80 degrees your temperature at noon. So if you are going to be heading off to the Indiana State Fair, looks like another spectacular day here. Again, that humidity is going to stay in check with our high temperature mid to upper 80s tomorrow afternoon. 84 degrees in Kokomo, 83 in Frankfort. Find those numbers along I-70 here. About 85 in Martinsville, 87 in Indy, 87 for you in Bedford, and Greensburg coming in at 85 degrees. We're going to continue with the theme of quite a bit of sunshine here in your Sunday forecast. Temperatures starting off a little bit warmer. We'll get into the lower 70s at 9 a.m. You'll get to the mid to upper 80s for that afternoon high. So we'll keep it dry, but I think Sunday afternoon it'll feel a little closer to that 90-degree mark as the humidity starts to creep in here. We'll keep the dry weather going on Monday, but we need some rainfall. We talked about that abnormally dry conditions that have started to develop north of Indianapolis. Next best chance for rain, that's going to move in here during the day on Tuesday, especially the afternoon and evening hours. Not necessarily a lot of rain here, but we will take what we can get. And hey, it doesn't line up for the weekend. We'll keep that dry in the 7-day planning forecast. Sunshine, 87 degrees both Saturday and Sunday afternoon, close to 90 degrees on Monday. But then as the rain chances come up here, the temperatures come back down just a little bit, and a 30% chance for showers and storms Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So not a guarantee that you'll get rain those days.
I think a lot of people are wanting that rain right now.
We could use some for sure.
Did you get anything good to eat at the fair today?
Oh, did I?
So much.
Wow.
And she even shared a little.
Oh,
I got
nice.
my corn, I got my grilled cheese.
See, I got to get there, get my grilled cheese on Monday, it looks like. Good times.
Ice cream.
Yep, and a shake to go with it. All right, I'm hungry now. All right, we'll get to the break. I'll find a snack sometime. When we come back, though, a little football, a little basketball, a little baseball, a little racing. We got it all for you to Friday night. Coming up.
Funnel cake and pizza.
How about some hoops to start your Friday night? Team USA in the Pan Am Games. That's big Tyler Weidman with the putback dunk. The Butler grad helping the American team tonight against Puerto Rico, playing down in Lima, Peru. Leading as they go to the fourth quarter. A win moves into the semifinals. The gold medal game would be on Sunday. Good stuff there. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. About a month ago, it looked unlikely that the Indians would factor much in the playoff conversation, but in 3 weeks, they got from 11 games out to just 5. A big chance to get 3 more closer at home this weekend, taking on division leader Columbus. First of them tonight, Indy on the board early. Couple of runs in the second inning. Cole Tucker, the base hit to right field. Jason Martin around. He slides in safe. Tucker's RBI made it 2-0 in favor of the Indians. Mitch Keller was awesome for 5 innings tonight. Struck out a dozen hitters in his first 15 outs. Gave up just 1 hit early. Then it all fell apart in the 6th inning. Columbus put 4 on the board there, and that would turn out to be enough. 5-3 the final at the end. Same 2 teams tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Victory Field. Purdue's 2019 football season off and running. First fall practice was last night in West Lafayette. One position that will be getting a lot of attention over the next few weeks will be quarterback. 5th-year senior Elijah Sindelar seems to be the obvious choice as he returns to a lineup that saw him come up with some big performances last year. But Purdue has added some fresh talent, including number 13, redshirt freshman Jack Plummer, looking like the top newcomer. 6'5", 220 pounds, and got a great arm as well. Purdue QB coach Brian Brom will have a lot to consider over the next 4 weeks.
Multiple capable quarterbacks on the roster. Now, to say that there's not a quarterback competition, I wouldn't phrase it completely like that. But Elijah, it's his job to run with. So he needs to take the reins and really take control of it, take ownership of it, take ownership of the team.
Our coach really enforces like every play matters. So even in practice, you try to take advantage of every snap. And I think that I have the same mentality I did when David was here, now when he's not here. And so that's what I've been trying to make sure that I keep all the way through camp. Because if I do slack off, then Jack will be right up there with me.
Referring to being the backup to David Blau last year, Purdue's regular season starts August 30th, a Friday night game at Nevada. The Colts were off today. Training camp is back on the field tomorrow, 2 p.m., as it's 4 straight days of afternoon workouts on the calendar up in Westfield, all open to the fans. Don't forget, you got to download your free tickets online before you go. Colt City will be open every day up there in the stretch from 1 to 5. Looks like it'll be a great weekend for some racing at IMS. Some classic cars and some classic drivers will be part of the Brickyard Vintage Invitational. Many of the drivers gathered at the Speedway today to talk about the weekend's event. Among them, 3-time Indy 500 champ Johnny Rutherford, former Brickyard winner Bobby Labonte. Some other great names of the 500 and the 400 will also be on track as well. Even before they take the green flag, they all seem to be having a ton of fun. Lynn St. James talked about how this event has evolved.
I don't think a lot of us had a real high regard, maybe, in the sense that they're not real race car drivers and blah, 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 that, you know, comments would be said like that, not necessarily by us, but certainly by other people. And I think the eye-opener of realizing how many great race car drivers that are out there that are, you know, owners and bring their cars not only for us to drive, but actually they race them themselves. And so I think this whole sport is growing of vintage racing.
A lot of cool stuff out there. Gates open at 8 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday at the track. Racing gets started right away, goes through the afternoon. They have several different classes running a bunch of various cars and a lot of good stuff to see out there both days. One more break. We'll be back to finish tonight's news at 11 next.
Down on the farm.
New info about a shooting involving IMPD officers on the northeast side. Investigators say officers were responding to reports of criminal activity near 42nd Street and Richelieu. They pulled over a vehicle and the passenger had a gun. IMPD says the officers fired at the passenger, fearing for their lives. They are working to figure out if the passenger fired his weapon. He died from his injuries. No officers were hurt. Thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Have a great weekend.